Okay, so I gave an assignment yesterday when we started. We had our class yesterday. I gave an assignment yesterday, and I think I've gotten a couple of feedbacks, and the feedbacks were quite interesting. The assignment had everything to do with the assignment was basically everything we've done up to this point. There was really nothing new about it, except for the fact that I requested that we have a limit to the number of characters that the phone number text field can contain, and the maximum number of characters the phone number text field can contain. And most people solved that problem using a min length and max length attributes of our input elements. So bravo, if you're actually able to solve that, or if you're actually able to solve that, or if you're attempted doing that in one way or the other, I want to tell you congratulations. You've made a step forward, and you're good to go. We can actually move on with the creation of the websites that I originally posted, the adverts that got you here in the first place. We're going to be looking at the HTML structure of the gym websites, and we're going to try and see how much HTML we can actually type out today. We'll type out for the first 20 to 30 minutes, and I will explain as I type along. And we'll pause for a while and give room for questions based on what I've already typed out. So I'll get straight to it. Okay, I'm going to be closing the left panel that you have over here. I'll close it so we can make the Visual Studio Code a little bit wider so you can see more of what I'm typing. Okay, first we're going to have our doc type declaration. And as I stated earlier in our previous lecture, the doc type declaration tells the server that you're actually writing HTML5 codes. And after the doc type declaration, we're going to have HTML, the opening and the closing tag of the HTML element that tells the server that you're running the HTML document. It's going to be followed by the head tag, and the head tag is going to contain the non-visual the non-visual section of the web browser of the website, which is going to include the title, which gives description to the website, and also serves as a name when the web page is actually bookmarked. Now let's call this. What should we call it? Okay, let's call it. You can call it whatever you want. So let's just give it. Let's say, welcome to Seed Gym. Yeah. So we're calling the fictional website Seed Gym. Okay, we're also going to have our body elements, the opening and the closing tag, and this is where the major work is going to be done. And in the body elements, we're going to start by introducing a new tag that you've not seen before, and let's call it header. Now, what's header? Header basically it's a HTML5 element that is used for description. It's basically you could put header anywhere in your body element. You could put it into another a div element and it's basically telling the browser that it's the header section of your document. So even if you were to have a div here, let's assume we have a div here, we can actually have a header in here. Header. You can have a header in here, and when you look at this div, whatever content we have in this div is going to serve as it's going to be the head section of this entire div that we have here. That's the reason for having the header. We could as well use a div here, but let's stick to the HTML5 standards and make use of a header. We have headers, we have sections, and section defines sections of your page. We have article defines articles of your page, and within an article you can have a header, you can have a section, which means the header within an article is the header of the article, and the section within an article will be the section of an article. So we have a header, and let's give it a class of main. You can use an ID if you want, but let's just give it a class of main. Then let's have another div, and the div is going to have a class of cover. And basically just name it now. Okay, before we even get started, let's pause the tutorial for a while, because what we are doing right now is coding. Start any website or any project in programming, you have to deal with what we call the planning stage. And now what does the planning stage mean? The planning stage is where you take your piece of paper out, or maybe a book if you have access to, if you don't have access to maybe to digital and planning equipment or digital planning platforms, you can use a piece of paper. You draw out what you expect the website to look like. So let me go to the browser. Let me open, let me open, let's make use of draw.io. Draw.io. I don't know how many people. Okay, we have about 8 people on board right now. Okay, so let's make use of draw.io. Now, draw.io, it's a free sketch application that allows you to draw maybe visual flow charts or whatever diagram that you plan on drawing. You can use it for your school projects. You can use it for other projects that you might come across. So what we're gonna use draw.io now is to sketch a basic layout of what we expect our website to look like. It's not going to be a professional web layout, because if you were to actually do a professional UI user interface of what you expect your website to look like, you'll be using tools like Adobe XD. So my screen is a little bit extended. I can't type in the browser. We'll be using tools like Adobe XD. That's one. So you can use it to draw interfaces of what you expect the website to look like or an app to look like before you actually start coding. It's free. There's a free version if you're just getting started. Then for Mac users, we also have Sketch. Yeah, we have Sketch. I don't personally make use of Sketch. I make use of Adobe XD because it's free. But then I think Sketch comes with a price tag of $99 one-time payment. And if you're working as a team, you can pay $99 that is billed yearly, or $9 per contributor that's on your team. But basically, you can make it with Adobe XD. So we are here now in the draw.io, and we have a couple of tools here. We have the general tool, we have the miscellaneous tools, advanced tool, basic tools, arrows, flowcharts. If you're drawing entity diagram, UML diagrams, so all these diagrams are probably beyond the scope of this course. So we'll just make use of the general tool. I'm just giving you a rough sketch of what you expect to see or how you expect to plan your website or app before you start building it. Before you build an app, you don't just jump into it and start building it. You settle down your plan. The planning can go for 2 days, it can be a day plan, it can be 1 week plan. Yeah, I think you should be able to see it now. Same issue we had like yesterday. You should be able to see it now. All right, thank you for drawing my attention to that. Okay, so I drew, okay, so okay, I drew, let me start all over. Let me start all over since you can't see it. Let me clear everything so it doesn't look strange. Okay, so I opened draw.io. When you go to draw.io, so the page, draw.io, and you determine, okay, we've already been here, so it's opening directly. But normally when you open draw.io, to give you an option to select where you plan to have your document stored. And I was stating that you heard me clearly. So I stated that you need to plan your website or your web app, your desktop app, whatever kind of app you're designing. You need to plan it on paper, on an application on your computer before you actually start coding anything along. So we're going to have a rectangle, or a square. This is actually a square. Rectangle. Let's call this a square. We're going to have a square. Okay, let's make use of a rectangle. We're going to have a rectangle. The square seems to be expanding in a very weird manner. We're going to have a rectangle, and this rectangle now is going to represent the body of the web page. Okay, so within the rectangle, I remember I said I'm going to have a header. Let's make it another rectangle. I'm going to have a header, and the header is going to have a logo. Let's call this logo. Then we're going to have a couple of links. Let's say the home link. Let's duplicate that. We're also going to have the equipment link. We're also going to have the contact us link. Contact us. Yeah. We're basically giving ourselves a visual of what we expect the website to look like before we even get started coding anything. And we're going to have a contact us link. Now we're also going to have a link that says call us. Let's say call the phone number. Let's just say 00. Okay, we have that. Minimize that a little bit, and it's going to be close. It's just going to be after the links. It's going to be after the links. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So we're going to have that, and we want our links to be a little bit to the center of the page, not too close to the call phone number, and not too far from it either. So that's it. Then we're also going to have an image. We're going to have an image that is expected to span from the top. That's a box again. We're going to have an image that is expected to span from just directly below the logo, sorry, below the header section of the body. It's going to span for about 50% of the page. Okay, let's give the image, let's give the color. Yeah, we're going to make use of the teal color. And the image is going to have two texts. One is going to say, yeah, you might be looking at this as overkill, as why are we going to do this before we start coding? Why can't we just jump into the website and start coding? But this will also serve as a guide in case you're working on your website and you forget what you're actually supposed to do. You can always go back to your initial design and see what you have. I didn't actually plan to do this in this course, but I think it's necessary. It's just good you have an idea of what I actually go through when I'm building software. So we're gonna have a text that's going to say, what should it say? Okay, that that perfect. Okay, let's make it, let's capitalize each word. Perfect body. Then we can expand it. It's going to be at the middle of the page over here. It's probably going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger. So let's increase the font size. Increase the font size. It's been a while I've been on this, so it will take a while to navigate. But yeah, I found it. Let's increase the font size. So okay, then we're also going to have a smaller text image under that. That's going to say, we are here for you. We are just like, we are here for you. Yeah. So let's find that out as well. Let's find that out. I'm going to drop that to, yeah, I'm going to drop that to, how many pixels is that? Yeah, 12 pixel. So we're going to have that. And all this is going to be within the header. Yeah, I think that's all. So that means we need to expand this. All this is expected to be within the header. We can give the header a color of, let's see what it's going to look like if we color it. Okay, okay. So all this is going to be within the header. But you're not actually seeing the header's color because you're not. But if I move it down a little bit, you can see that all this is within the header. But we're not going to. You're not seeing the header's color because this the section that says get that perfect body is above the header. So all this is going to be within the header, and the header is not going to have this color. It's going to have a darker color. Let's say gray. Yeah, gray. That's it. We're also going to need to give this an outline color of teal, just something blue, bluish in nature. So we're giving the call an outline of that and increase the by increasing the border radius to 1 to 2 pixels. So you can actually see it's going to be blue. That means the colors button is actually going to be a little bit different from these other sections of the header elements. Okay, and what else are we going to have? Well, okay, if we have that, then we're going to have a couple of. Remember, here is going to be an image. It's not going to be this blue color. Then it's going to be followed by. We're going to list our equipment that the gym has to offer, and we're going to list them in about. We're going to list about 6 equipment. So just remove this 1, 2, 3, 4. So put one. Let's put it here. 2. I think I duplicated it on top of each other. Okay, so it's going to be 3 equipment each. Yeah, something like this. It's going to be something like this. So, okay, I mistakenly moved that. Go back. Okay, so we're going to have this, and it's going to be, you're going to span to the, you're going to span to the center of the page, something like this. And, can we expand it all together? Okay, we can't. but it's going to be something like this. Just a rough view of what we're expected to have. All these are going to be images that will represent the current gym equipment that we have within the company. We're going to have 6 images out here. It already gives you an idea of what the website is going to look like when we are done. Let's expand the rectangle, the initial body elements a little bit. Because after that, we're going to have we will have a contact us form. Yeah, just something like what you created earlier. And the contact us form is going to be within a div or a section, depending on what we want. And within that, we'll have an image to the left. An image to the left. Let's give that a color of green or teal. Let's make it something teal. We're going to have an image to the left. Then to have the form, the contact us form to the right. And they are going to overlap the box element, the box drawing. Thanks to expand the very way. We're going to have this. Let's type contact us. Contact us. So we're going to have a contact us. This is going to be an image. This will be an image for contact us. And these are all gym equipment. Yeah. Gym equipment, gym equipment, gym equipment, gym equipment, gym equipment. I'm basically just copying and pasting. Okay, last but not the least, we will have a footer. And the footer is going to be at the bottom of the page. And the footer is going to represent, if you go to websites, you usually see something like copyrights. Let's say copyrights seed media 2020. Yeah, we're going to have that at the footer. Then we'll have various logos up here. Let's use a circle for the logos. Let's use a circle icon. We're going to have, let's say, Facebook, Twitter, Twitter, Instagram. It's been a while I've actually made use of this. Instagram and YouTube. So we will have 4 icons at the top of the footer and a little description that tells us that the website was designed and owned and is the property of C Media. So looking at this, you already have an idea of what the website will look like. So you can print this out on a normal day. You print this out, you just snap it, convert it to whatever, and you start working on your web page. So is there any question regarding this before we move back to the HTML section of the website we're building? Any question regarding this? I don't want to spend so much time. Okay. Any question regarding this? It's not directly part of the course, but it's good you know that you're supposed to have a pictorial diagram of what you plan to design. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're done. If it's a very complex design, it might take you a couple of days, but it's going to be worth it at the I have a couple of pictures I pushed out to the client recently. It's supposed to be for an e-commerce website. So we've not even come to an agreement. We've not spoken about prices and all that. I just did a rough pictorial diagram of what we expect the website to look like, and I sent it to her to make her choice. So based on her choice, that's what's going to determine the complexity of the front end design. It's also going to determine the amount that she's going to be billed for the website. Okay, so no question regarding that. Okay, so we're going to move straight to moving straight to the HTML section of the website. I'll leave that open initially. It's Visual Studio Code. Okay, before we keep going on, I want to thank everyone that's actually made our time to come for this class. As I said before, in our yesterday's tutorial, most people tend to skip out of programming classes at the first day or second day of the class. That's when it actually seems more complex. After you spend a couple of time working through it, it starts to get easier. So we're actually writing the div. So let me leave this open so we can make reference to what we created while we're working on it. Close this, close this. Where it's not so. I guess the website is not doesn't have website doesn't have it's not responsive. So unfortunately, if you can snap that with your phone and make reference to it, I already know what the website is supposed to look like in my head. So let me keep going. Okay. So we created the header section, which is supposed to house the main cover. Then we created another div. I told you that div stands for division. It's just basically a way of grouping sections of your website together. And I told you I also stated earlier that header it's part of the HTML5 new elements that were created. Okay, so under cover let's have a nav bar with an ID of nav bar. So we have a nav bar with class of nav bar, ID of nav bar. When we start styling the website, I might not necessarily need both of this. We discard the one we don't need to make use of. So an ID of nav bar. Then let's use H1 for our logo, and let's give the class of logo. I don't think I've mentioned H1 before now. Now, H1 stands for heading. Not necessarily, okay, let's leave H stands for heading. Then H is the headings are grouped from 1 to 6 and is represented in the order of importance. That's to say H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. If you watch the previous HTML video I uploaded, the first one I uploaded, you will have an understanding of what I'm talking about here. So let's give that logo. Okay, we're going to need an icon to actually style our logo. So for our icon, we're going to make use of Font Awesome. Font Awesome is a website. Font Awesome. Let's Google it. Font Awesome. The Font Awesome 6. Do we have 6? FontAwesome6.com. It offers free icons. Let me expand it a little bit so you can see the website clearly. I'm now on the right page. Okay, starting off we need to pay, but definitely we're not paying for that. It's just good. We're going to make it of the free API. And you click on the icon menu up here. Click on the icon menu up here. We're 28 minutes into the class already. And before we can make use of Font Awesome, we need to link to Font Awesome. You can get the link directly from here. I can't figure out where to get it from the website. So basically, I get all my third-party links from CDNGS, Google CDNGS, and it takes you to a repository where all links are stored. And if you type Font Awesome, it gives you a link to Font Awesome. Okay, a link to this. Let's make use of this. Copy the link that is attached here. So it's a CSS link here. This here. Copy this. Yeah, let's copy that and go and put it in our website. So remember, I told you that the head section of your HTML document, I've said this several times in previous tutorials, contains the non-visual aspects of your website. For example, this link that we just copied now is what's going to allow us to make use of Font Awesome. It's going to be placed directly under the title, or you can place it above the title. But let it be in the head section of your document. I'm going to say link CSS. Now, this is how you declare CSS links. It's a self-closing tag and self-closing elements. We have a link. The relative keyword or relative attribute is going to house the word style sheet. This tells the server that what you're going to have in this link is a style sheet. So that's basically just what it is. But I'm going to put a link to the style sheet. Yeah, and that's all you need to do. You can make use of Fonts Awesome right now. Yeah. That's all. We're going to see what makes font awesome so good. Okay, so we'll need a logo. We are making the font awesome. This is the version of font awesome. Okay, so we'll go to font awesome, and we have a couple of icons here. So let's search for, I think, dumbbell. Dumbbell, yeah. Let's make use of this. Let's really make use of this. I think I like this. Okay, let's make use of this. It's free. All you need to do to work with font awesome is to copy this link here. You don't have to worry yourself about how it's created. You copy it and we'll paste it within our logo. Let's go back to our page. Paste it within our logo and save. Then give it in, then put it, we're going to have a span under that and call it seed gym. Let's save that and open with lifestyle. Yeah, you can see, yeah, that's it. So you can see, oh, this all we've been typing all along just to get this. This is the icon we got from Font Awesome. It's going to serve as the logo of our website, and we need the space between seed and gym. Okay, a little bit classier. And this is the name we typed out here. So all this, the other header, the divs we have up here and everything is basically just a way of structuring the web page. I'm going to pause here so I don't put too much information into your head, and let's take questions. I think this is the right time to take questions because we seem to be handling a little bit, going a little bit deeper into HTML. So let's take questions. You can unmute your mic and ask your questions regarding what we have here. Any question? Or is everybody following along? Any question? Any question? Okay, Ademola has
Hello?
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to know why we had to bring in that link, then also put in the image from Front Awesome.
Okay.
The link that is above in the head. Why does it have to be there? And why do we still have to bring in another link again from Front Awesome again?
Okay. Okay. If you look at the link that we have up here, the Font Awesome link, it says under the href attribute, which is the href attribute tells us that what we have, what we're going to store in that attribute is a link. Basically, it's a link. It
Okay.
could be google.com or whatever. So what this is telling us, if you look at it, it says cdngs.cloudflare.com. It comes down to Ajax. This is a folder, another folder, and within that folder, another folder, this folder, this folder. This is the file we're actually linking to, all.min.css. What this does basically, okay, what this does basically is it's a library that contains various icons you get that's stored across the internet. A library that contains various icons that are stored across the internet. And if I was to comment this out now, let me show you. If I comment this out and save, you can see the icon has disappeared.
Yeah.
You get, so we want to make use of an icon from this library that is stored across the internet, stored in the cloud. It's not stored on our local computer.
Yeah.
So we need to reference this link first. Then this other link that we pasted here now is the name of the icon that we want to make use of. So that's just basically, we have a link and we have a name of the icon. It's referencing, we're going to look for the icon within this link that is stored somewhere on another person's computer, on their server, and make it show on our computer. That's basically just what it is. If we were to right click and say view page source, as I showed you earlier, you can see the link here. It's just basically a reference. It's like a name to an icon that is stored on the server.
Okay. Okay.